Alright, hello guys. So, this is my 100th YouTube video, and I thought I'd do something special. So, you can see over here, let me try to get a good shot. I'm going to show you my weapons collection that I've had since I was a kid, and how I've built it, and the history of it and how it worked. And if I have time at the end, there's something else I might want to do, but if not, I'll just put it in the next video. Alright, so these are my weapons. I hope this will tell you something about, my history and my past, and maybe why I have this passion for weapons and weapon collecting. I'll try to somewhat, my face probably won't be in this very much, but oh well. Let's start off with this. This is a little old school Winchester knife. Cheap. My sister actually found this on the ground in like a parking lot once. This also, the tip broke off because I was prying with it and I didn't know, because I was just little, that you shouldn't do that with that. But ever since I found this, there's just been this thing like with knives and weapons and whatnot, and like self-defense use things. I don't know what attracted me to it, but it was ever since I found this. Of course it's dull, it's starting to rust, the tips broke off, but I mean, it's still a neat thing to have. It kind of got me into this idea of having knives. What else should I show you? I'll show you this right here. This is a Winchester knife as well. I got this, I think, for like $10 at Meijer's, and I mean, I've used it, I've beat the crap out of it, I sharpened it, and this knife has a lot of sentimental value. This is close to my heart. Despite its cheapness, it's actually pretty good for what I bought it for. It doesn't have blade play, at least when it's opened. When it's in the process of being open, it has a little. And the lockup is pretty strong despite its cheapness. I've taken this on every adventure and I love it, and I can flick it out quickly, and it's just wonderful. Like all if not most of the cheap pocket knives I've bought after that, I haven't really been satisfied with. So this is great. I like the serrations as well, and I've sharpened it a bit, even though the secondary bevel or the grind is pretty cheap. Nice jimping. All around great knife. I carried this everywhere, and this was my main knife that I had all up until somewhat recently, actually. So that's a lot to say. Ever since middle school I carried this, and into high school, and to yeah, I think into 2014. I mean, I still carry this, but I mean, it's wonderful. I've taken it on all my adventures to protect me. Used it many times. Definitely an important relic to my childhood. What else do we have? We have this right here. This was the first weapon I bought at the Renaissance Festival, a giant two-handed mallet. This is not the greatest mallet ever. The head's starting to get loose, but I mean, I'm pretty sure it would hurt. But yeah, this is one of the cheapo weapons I just had when I was a kid, because I couldn't afford good stuff. Didn't have much money. I have this sickle right here, which my mom bought at this Amish auction that is up north, around where my grandparents' cabin is. And this is more of like a tool than a weapon. Some of these things you'll notice are more tools than weapons, but I mean, you can use all these things as a weapon. And this was one of the things I liked. I can cut grass with it, or if I need to, it does get good momentum. I can use it as a weapon, but it's not really its intended use. This I made, I think, during like my freshman year of high school. This isn't that great. It's just sort of like a pine shaft with like a whittled handle with electric tape on it, a big nail, two little nails on the back. It would probably break if you use it a lot in like a zombie apocalypse or something, but it was one of my earlier homemade weapons. Because I didn't have a lot of money, I'd try to home make a lot of weapons that I'd see on like the internet and stuff, but I didn't have skills or tools either. so most of them didn't turn out great. Some turned out better than others. This is a stick/spear thing let's see what part of this is in the camera shot. There. It has this like little ledge thing I have, so I can like disarm someone maybe if I need to, but in all honesty it would probably break. This thing probably lasts as a good weapon for a while. It would break. I tried to sharpen it, as you can see there. And it has like a notch which makes it better. The worst thing, one of my earlier childhood weapons. This, I took some other cheap knives I was dissatisfied with that developed blade play, and I used nail and glue to mount it on this cheap stick, which I realized wasn't wasn't straight after I did it, but I figured, I could use it as like a hooking weapon, or like a snake spear, I guess I'd call it. But if I was going to get in, like, say, a fight with this, like, if someone had even a light machete and they hit this shaft, there's a good chance it would break. So, when you're like a little kid, you don't know as much about weapons. These are weapons I might be embarrassed I called weapons at one point, but, they're still a good part of my childhood, This staff walking stick, my second Renaissance Festival weapon. Actually, I haven't bought many weapons at the Ren Fest because it's pretty expensive there. I usually buy in line these days, but it has, these nice screw things. If you hit someone with that, it hurt pretty bad. So, yep. What time is it? All right, we've got plenty of time. What else? What else do I have? I have this slingshot, which I probably bought in more recent years, probably around when I was like 16, 17 maybe. Nice blue rubber bands. I remember this was pretty powerful. I have another slingshot that will be in this video, and two others which I would like to be in the video, but I unfortunately could not find them. This was one of them. I retired this because the rubber band's starting to break, but I could get another rubber band to replace this one with. One even more powerful, so yeah, I guess the handle and everything's still good, and it has like the wrist brace. It's heavy, it's good gripped. Nice, bought that for $3. Alright, this I actually bought quite recently. It was over the summer, because you never know when you're going to need a chain, especially when I start driving. It's a great tool, but I also noticed it's a great weapon, so if I put this in my trunk, zombies break out, which is unlikely, or just thugs or bad things happen, whatever. This chain's the hook. This works as a really great weapon. People have been killed by chains. Let's see. Let's go on to this right here. I bought this when I was in Chicago at a knife store. This is cheap, $21 knife, but this is not bad. And it's really lightweight, so I've run with this a lot. And the edge is decently sharp. So, yeah. Pretty cool. Obviously, some of these I'll spend more time on than others. You see this? I'm very pleased with this. This was my, this is my Craftsman whittling knife. It's made of high carbon steel. I bought this at Sears back when I took my first driver segment there. And this is nice claw. It's like a karambit, like you could tear flesh with this, but it also works as a really nice tool. So, very pleased with this. I've used this to help whittle this club right here. So, it's definitely great. What else? Alright, let's move on to this. See? Let's look at this. Looks like an ordinary wallet, right? Little belt strap there in case you want to carry it on your belt. Let's open it up. Let's see what's inside. This is really cool. Fell out. I opened it upside down. There are these playing cards in the wallet, as you can see. One fell out. And these are actually sharp blades. Yes, not terribly sharp, but somewhat sharp, and the corners are pointy. Do I think you could kill someone with this? Possibly. But these aren't like practical weapons to use. This might distract someone, which is mostly what ninja throwing weapons did, was distract people. And you know, not as good of a throwing weapon as a spear or a javelin, that's for sure. But I mean, they're really cool things to have. Just $8. I bought these at the mall, so you mean, why not get them? You know, a really cool, mostly novelty item that may be useful at one point. Unlikely. I got this katana right here several Christmases ago. Yeah, this is blunt, but it's really good. It only costs $70, so I mean, I guess it's not really the cheapest katana, but it's really nice to have. So yeah, that's all I gotta say about this. This stick I've had for a while, hard, highly doubt it's gonna break. I've fought and practiced with this before. It's really good. You mean, a stick, you can walk with it anywhere, hike with it, and it's legal just about anywhere, and it's a great weapon, so I highly recommend it. What else do we have? This right here, weapon I bought recently. I bought this mostly just because it looked cool for novelty use. I really did not buy it because I thought it was going to be a good weapon. I mean, you could use this as a weapon. It feels like it's full tang when I hit it. And it's made of steel from Pakistan, which people seem to think is just really great, but it's not necessarily that great. And I mean, it's just a cool looking dragon knife thing. I don't know, it's not really practical to use, but it's dope. So here you have this axe. I bought this at an Amish store, again near my grandparents' cabin. The head's coming loose due to this cheap handle, and it's not sharp at all. But you mean, I guess just the wedge of it, it can still chop through wood, and it could still be used as a weapon. Again, mostly a tool, but you know, in a pinch, if you might need it, you can use it. What else do we have here? We have this dagger, which I bought at the Amish auction as well. This is cheap, screw-on, rat tail tang. I mean, it's well balanced, it's really nice, and it looks cool, so ultimately, I'm glad I have it. What else? I'm starting to get more and more up to date. These are some bolts I have for the pistol crossbow I had that unfortunately broke, so it will not be in this video, but I'd like to get another pistol crossbow. This slingshot, TrueMark slingshot. My neighbors gave me the frame, and I ordered these black rubber bands online. These are the most powerful ones they make. By far best slingshot I've ever had. Excellent. Highly recommend TrueMark and their black power bands. Where else are we going? Right now, let's go to my most recent purchase. This is the first time I'm showing this. I'll probably do a review. This is my Cold Steel Bowie Bushman. Highly recommend this knife. It is excellent. You can use it as a spear if you find like a good shaft for it, and it works as an awesome survival knife. Great blade. I'm running out of time here, so I may have to do a part 2, but I'll keep on going. This is my bow. My mom, again, bought it at that Amish place. I've got a lot of stuff there, a lot of really inexpensive. Love it. A lot of junk, but a few gems at the Amish auction place. But this is paracord, not very powerful. I'd like to advance at some point. Obviously, you know, I don't have a lot of money, but I've used this a lot, and I've gotten pretty good, at least somewhat decent at shooting with this. What else? What am I going to move on to now? Alright. Let's move on to this. Maybe right here. Cold Steel Gladius Machete. Excellent, excellent, excellent weapon. Hybrid, again, between a Gladius and a machete. Recommend it to anyone. For like $32, something like that, you can have basically a battle-ready short sword. So highly recommend it. Alright, well, I'm about out of time for this, but I'll definitely have an episode 2 to this. So thanks for watching, and for now, Auf Wiedersehen on to part 2.